Old Joshua had just put his sheep into the barn for the night. He turned to look to the setting sun and saw a bright light up in the sky. It got closer and closer, and he was a little afraid. Though he was no stranger to falling rocks from the sky. There was an airport not too far from his farm, and occasionally the random, one of those rocks fell. Now, this one seemed different, though. It seemed to have a glow to it. It came closer and closer to his land, and he still stood on the porch. He knew if it was going to hit his house, there's nothing he could do anyway. But lucky for him, it landed out in the field, out where his sheep go to graze. It wasn't that big after all, and he heaved a sigh of relief and finished smoking his pipe and went back inside. He had just rained not too long ago, so he wasn't worried about it catching fire to his grass or anything. That's the last thing he needed to deal with at sunset was a steaming pile of airplane shit. He got back up in the morning and did all his regular farm work that he usually does. Let his sheep out to pasture. Took care of his day. Now, when he got done with his work in the garage, he went to go feed his sheep, but they weren't there. Instead, where his sheep went out to pasture, where that meteor had landed, there was a tree. He was amazed at the size of this thing. He went up and came up to the tree. He could see it had some flowers growing from it, and it smelled really interesting, like nothing he'd ever smelled before. And it didn't even look like a normal tree. Almost like it was a mushroom. He looked at the tree from where he was and decided he wanted to get closer. So he walked on up to it, and again, that intense smell from the flowers. Just amazing. He saw some fruit that were like growing from the trunk of that tree. It was really weird. He got up close and saw that it wasn't so much a fruit as it was a tiny little face. He was intrigued and appalled at the same time. He reached his hand toward the little nub, which almost looked like it had already had a bite taken out of it. He wanted to bite it himself too. It was soft when he grabbed it, and it kind of like was stuck to a tendril as he pulled it away from the branch. He realized that the bite that was taken out of it was something a sheep had done. He looked around and looked up, only to see the strange blue tendril wrap around his face and pull him up into the tree where it had the other sheep. Later on that evening, when it grew dark, the little tree scrunched up and shot into the sky again.